Hey guys, Cool Scorpion here. I once again have this book with me, and we are currently on page 441. So let's get to reading. So I read there from page 441 up to page 453, and well, yeah, this chapter is actually quite cool. So once again, starts off with a Princess Irulan written piece. When law and duty are one, united by religion, you never become fully conscious, fully aware of yourself. You are always a little less than an individual. From Muad'Dib, The 99 Wonders of the Universe, by Princess Irulan. So then the actual chapter, it starts with a smuggler's spice factory in like the desert, right? And Gurney Halleck is a character from like way back in the book who basically served the Duke and was really good friends with Paul. But then when they were attacked by the Harkonnens, he escaped with a lot of his men and just had to like just hide in the desert basically and hope to get revenge one day. But on this particular day, they're like harvesting spice. They're like trying to get some spice from the desert. He has his Gurney is commanding his men to like get this spice with their factory. And yeah, so far they're getting some stuff. They're also just like being wary of Harkonnen patrols, just being wary of like any ornithopters in the area. And then what happens here? He's also Gurney. He's also being aware of the Freeman Harkonnen battles at the moment. Basically, ever since Paul took over like the Freeman troop, or didn't take over the Freeman troop, but started helping with the Freeman troop, Harkonnen and Freeman tensions and battles have gone even more tense. Now, you see, Gurney doesn't know that was because of Paul yet. He just knows that the Freeman and Harkonnen are at each other's throats. So while he's like farming all this spice, he's just being wary of this. And one of his men come up to him saying, "This looks like a rich patch, sir. We might get a lot of spice here." And Garrett's like, yeah, yeah. Just like very, very tense, very like scared they're gonna be attacked or something. So they're moving spice factory basically, yeah, because this is how they harvest spice. They have like moving factories. So Garnet's moving spice factory stops in this specific patch because like it looks like there'll be a lot of spice there. They start harvesting it, and then Gurney just takes a look around the place, thinking just different things like how we could like how they could turn this land into somewhere to live, somewhere just get supplies, get spice, things like that. He also thinks, okay, this could be a good emergency base. As he's like looking at the elevation of the rocks, looking at like the horizon, all that. He's just really surveying the area, and all of a sudden they're attacked. Basically, Gurney hears like a soaring path of flame, as it's described here, and it like attacks their doctors and their carrying wing, right? And it just blows up stuff. And Gurney realizes, oh no, we're being attacked by rockets. When Gurney realizes this, all of a sudden a man jumps down in front of him, and Gurney quickly like I gotta get my knife, gotta get my knife. Step back, and then it's like, hey sir, put your knife down, all right? I'm a friend. And Gurney's like, Paul? And it's just like, yeah, Gurney starts realizing, oh, this is Paul. What the, you were dead. You were dead. And Paul's like, nah, bro, I'm all good, all good. And yeah, Gurney's like, oh my lord, it's a miracle, he alive. And then they just like, yeah, then they just embrace each other like, oh, it's just like it's been so long because you see, again, Gurney has thought for the past several years that Paul was dead. He didn't know he was alive basically. And well, now he's in front of him, and Gurney's just like, what on earth? So Gurney, after realizing this, quickly calls out to his men, call off the attack. These are friends. And then there's this line here I find really funny. Someone in among Gurney's men shouts back, "Fine friends, half our people murdered." And Gurney's like, "It's a mistake. It's a mistake. They just don't add to it. All right, just surrender now before it's too late." And so they do surrender. And after this, Gurney turns back to Paul, and they start just like talking with each other, start like talking like how's it been, like what they've both been up to, considering like they haven't seen each other in several years. And again, Gurney thought he was dead, so like he's just like still flabbergasted that Paul is alive. And then what happens here? Then Stilgar introduces himself to Gurney, or like, no, sorry, Stilgar pops up, and Paul introduces Stilgar to Gurney, and there's a bit of a tension between it, as like Stilgar is like, a bit wary of like another outsider. Like it's different with Paul. He's gotten used to Paul and Jessica, but with Gurney, he barely knows the guy. He just knows him via stories that Paul has told. And Stilgar basically says, Gurney, I believe you are this person, this like the servant to this duke. And then Gurney realized, oh yeah, this is Paul's my duke now. He's no longer just a friend of mine. He's actually my duke since the original duke's dead. And so yeah, he just realizes like, dang, I'm back with the trades family finally. I'm finally with my people again. Then Paul asks like, what has happened to like all your men? What's your team made of? And like Gurney responds by saying, it's made of mostly smugglers. It's also like he also said some left the planet, like some of Gurney's men left the planet. They saved up whatever money they had and just left, while others stayed, like just like Gurney. However, like the others stayed because they were loyal to Gurney. The reason Gurney stayed on this planet, however, was to kill Rabin. Remember, Rabin is the guy who is like part of the Harkonnen family household, and he is kind of like the puppet leader of the planet. And he's also the reason like the Duke Leto is dead. And so yeah, and so Gurney wants revenge on Rabin. He also wanted revenge on Rabin because he thought he'd killed Paul, but as Paul's standing in front of him, now he just says like he doesn't have a reason to kill Rabin for killing Paul anymore, but he's still gonna kill Rabin anyway, because like he destroyed everything. Then from the southwest, Paul points out there's a maker coming, like one of the sandworms, right? And Paul says he's big enough, and then they hear they hear the drumming noise, they hear that hissing drumming noise of that maker coming. And Gurney's like, should we move? Are we in danger? It's like Paul's like, hold up, let him cook. Then all of a sudden, that maker pops out of the ground and Gurney sees that the freemen are riding on this maker. And Paul says, that's one of the things we weren't meant to see. And Gurney's like, one of the greatest or the most terrifying monsters on this planet, and you're using it like a horse. Yes. And Gurney is just like in disbelief that freemen are able to just jump up on a horse, not a horse, jump up on a maker and just like ride it like it's an animal. Well, I mean, it is an animal, but like a riding animal. Like you can actually like ride it in the battle. You can use it as transport. Gurney is just shocked by this. After seeing this, Paul then asks Gurney if Gurney is going to join with him in his final campaign against the Harkonnens. And Gurney is like, I already have been. I've always been with you. The only thing is I just didn't know you were alive. I was going to do this no matter what, destroy the Harkonnen on this world. But now that I know you're alive, it's even better. So they discuss this and like, okay, great, you're on my side now. And now we're just gonna like go kill some Harkonnens. And then Chani pops out of nowhere, and Paul introduces Chani to Gurney. And then Paul also mentions that, oh yeah, by the way, I have a son now, so there's another Leto in the family. And Gurney's like, oh, okay, cool. And so what did they discuss next? Oh yeah, then they discuss how like his men are in the cave below them, just like because well just like the like clean up the battle that just took place, like the accidental battle, just clean up anything that happened there. But don't worry, I think the men will be fine. Then they further discuss like the men in Gurney's troop, or like the soldiers in Gurney's troop. And Gurney says like he doesn't trust all of them because he believes some of them are Harkonnen spies. However, he also believes some of them are Sardaukar spies. Basically, the Sardaukar are like the imperial spies, so like the spies of the emperor of this like whole human empire, and they come from that prison world we've mentioned a few times in this series. The what's it called again? One second there. What is it called again? Then all of a sudden, somebody nearby, one of the freemen, called Paul Muad'Dib, and then Gurney's like Muad'Dib, and Paul says that's like my freeman name, and then Gurney's just thinking about it, it's like, oh, I've heard legends of Muad'Dib. It's like he's just like killing Harkonnen everywhere he goes, and then Stilgar comes out of nowhere again, and Gurney is like, I'd like to have you as a friend, as Paul would also like me to have you as a friend. Like basically, Paul just wants Gurney and Stilgar to be on good terms and to be friends. And that's kind of where it ended, where they just shake hands. Yeah, I ended it there. So next time I'll be reading from page 452 and onwards. So that's all for now. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.